let's get into the beginning. You mentioned Wild Thing, Jon Moxley. That entrance.
Wait, hold on. It's
ahead.
the Wild Thing. Jon Moxley.
Man, you gotta give the people what they want.
Clamoring for it, but they made us stretch it out. And then Roberts gave us the Jon Moxley at the end. So he understands the stretch it out.
Yep.
And like you said, AEW is cha-ching. They're paying it off for their fans, sticking it through. And clearly, All Out sold out like that.
Yep.
And, if those of you watching, Team Dynamite Download is going to be there in Chicago All Out weekend. So be prepared. Come hang out with us. We are going to do some awesome stuff all weekend long. We're going to get in town early Friday and then through the weekend. So anyways, Jon Moxley is back. Buzzcut John, new dad on there. And boy, that was a nice way to kick things off, man.
Yeah.
It was a pleasing way to kick things off.
Well, sure. I'm glad to hear you say it. And I want to hear it fresh from the horse's mouth, as the man who just cannot seem to get behind the Good Brothers. You enjoyed this match, did you not?
So the reason, yes, I cannot get behind the Good Brothers, but like I said last week, Karl Anderson is the workhorse of them, and he can put on a good match, as he did tonight.
Tonight was I felt like, all of his kicks, bro. That was one of the things I was really impressed with. His offense. We say it a lot. Oh, man, that match was crisp. Or, man, those moves were really hitting. Dude, Karl Anderson was on point tonight, man. There was no sloppiness whatsoever in that man's game. He must have caught a skis before or what have you before the match. But my man was on his A game. And I was thoroughly impressed by what we saw out of Karl Anderson tonight. The machine gun came locked and loaded tonight. And he was ready. I mean, again, I want to emphasize this. You're talking Jon Moxley, a guy who is universally regarded as one of the best on the planet. PWI had him ranked as the number one wrestler on the planet just last year. And when you look at the bar that Moxley has set and sort of that aura that he has been able to establish as really one of the most dominant forces in AEW, he brought that swagger tonight, man. But Karl Anderson, the machine gun, he went toe-to-toe with Mox tonight, man. I felt like that tonight this matchup was set the tone. If we're going to see more of Jon Moxley defending the IWGP title on AEW television, I am all for it. I think bring in that fan base, bring in those eyes to the product. And if this sets the stage for what we're going to see coming out of the next showdown, where Moxley is going to go toe-to-toe with your guy, the Murder Hawk Monster, and I loved
right on cue.
I love both of these segments, both of these interviews, man. You got to hear from Lance and Jake, and then later on in the night, you hear Moxley give a little accepting of
rebuttal.
Lance's. Yeah, he gave a little accepting rebuttal. But for those of you who are just catching the show with us tonight, you heard it here first. SPD is he's going to be geeking out. He gets to see Lance Archer in a Texas death match against Jon Moxley.
Oh my gosh. And, obviously we're Murder Hawk maniacs here at Team Dynamite Download. We love what Lance is doing. But the thing is, like, he can't afford another loss at this point, man.
Who's to say he's going to lose, man? I mean, saying that
Moxley is one of the hottest things going, but it would be great to have maybe someone cost him the title or something and put some more relevance on Lance that he deserves.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things when I talked about this on Friday Night Fights and Flights with Bonds, I felt like, we talked about the one chapter closing, another one opening, and it felt like the Lance Archer, unfortunately, it felt like the chapter was closing on sort of his title opportunities in AEW.
Right.
For this to come out and to draw on his history in Japan, man, that's the thing. I think that it's really important to remember, Lance, when he was in North America before he went to Japan, he was a very different person. Just not the same kind, not the Murder Hawk that
Right.
He really gained a lot of confidence and edge in Japan. So I feel like, going toe-to-toe with Moxley for this title, I think is going to really, further establish the Murder Hawk. And I know there's a lot of people out there like you, SPD, who are Murder Hawk monster maniacs, who are worried, hey, is is he going to lose again?
I know.
I got into a little conversation about it, and I want to throw it at you, man. I feel like I'm with you. If he loses again this one, it hurts him, right? And there's no doubt about it. But there's also that I feel like Lance is that guy, and this is what I was saying earlier tonight when I saw this promo. My initial reaction to Lance was just Lance is that ultimate what if in AEW. What if they pulled the trigger on him? What if they let him just kind of do what he does best, right? And that's some of the things that I think is important to emphasize. This man was killing it just earlier this year.
Yeah. Top performer for me 3 to 4 weeks in a row.
What are your thoughts, man? I mean, coming out of this, do you feel like you feel like Moxley can't drop the belt, or do you really see Archer establishing himself and potentially taking the belt off of Moxley?
I mean, if you would have asked me this a few weeks ago before Mox took the pin of the Young Bucks at the pay-per-view, which was an outstanding, obviously, match, I would have said Mox is close to one of the untouchable stars in AEW. That being said, it's kind of loosened it a little bit, but it's hard. I mean, they're setting the stage. They're saying the longest reigning, and they kept throwing in Archer. And I got to give props where props is due. Excalibur consistently,
he's so good, man,
educates us on international wrestling history. He consistently, for those of us who don't watch, and I'll have to admit, I don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't know much overseas. And so I'm not ashamed to admit that. And so that's for Excalibur to lay down the groundwork for the average AEW fan, props to him.
Yeah.
He is a vital part of the announcement, and he's very knowledgeable and very smart guy. But I don't know I really have a hard time seeing Mox lose.
Fair enough. I get it.
Period.
I get it. I get it. Moxley is the man. That dude. And tonight was another reminder, man. That guy is just pure energy. You feel a Jon Moxley entrance. I think that Mox and Machine Gun were going toe to toe tonight, and they were throwing blows. But I cannot wait to see what he and Archer are going to do together.
Yeah.
For those of you who follow Moxley, those of you who are out there who are big fans of this lunatic, there's something about Moxley that like kind of screw loose up top, that he enjoys those matches where, people push him physically, where people go to, people hit him hard. He likes those he feeds off of those types of matches. It almost brings out a different side of Moxley. And I think that Lance Archer's definitely going to push Moxley in that regard, especially you talking about a Texas death match. Moxley pointed it out in his promo, you're Texas bred, you're Texas born, Texas bred, and next week you're going to be Texas dead. Really, for Lance Archer getting a shot in Texas for a belt that he has history with. I mean, SPD, I don't want to get your hopes up as a Murder Hawk maniac, but I think that there could be something here, man. I think that there could be something with the Murder Hawk. Let's pull the trigger on him. Let's give this man a title run. Let him have that opportunity. Moxley, Moxley is certainly a hot act, and there's no arguing. He's as good as it gets in the world. But I think that the title, me personally, I think that it would make a lot of sense to make that switch. I don't think that Moxley needs the belt, and I think that Lance, there's so many pieces of this that make sense for Lance, especially fresh off the heels of that Miro loss. This would really reestablish the Murder Hawk monster in a lot of fans' eyes, and I think that's something that's important that AEW needs to do. I think that Lance is going to be important for this company as they transition into getting the new era of big men established,
And he could take that, we got to keep moving, but if he could take this title and do more stuff on the Rampage, which you saw that awesome, it's less than a month away. So here, I'll make the bold SPD prediction that if this is the main event, as it should be, we see the homegrown Murder Hawk monster walk out strong. And it will be a win-win across the board.